You know who it is, your boy Yuckmouth. You know, I was going in, shout out to Silly Deadly Sins, aka Retarded Nigga, aka Fuck Boy, aka It's More Than Hate for Tommy Sotomayor. You don't want to tell people about your prison life. So since you want to open your mouth, I'm gonna do it for you. Uh I can't speak for you, but I'm gonna give you a little taste of what it's like being in jail or in prison. So subscribe, hit the like, hit the notification bell, stay informed.
This is the hardest part because you're in here with very little to do. You sleep, you eat, and you sleep some more, and you eat some more.
It is a life of profound monotony.
Can't do nothing. Just sit there and look stupid. Same thing every day. Just lay down, read a book, and that's it.
Day after day.
It's hell.
Year after year.
It's like an animal in a cage, you know?
Spent in cramped, uncomfortable confinement.
This is a 9x6 cell. Now, I can put my hand from here to here, and I can't even stretch my arms all the way out.
Where boredom is interrupted by moments of sheer terror. And occasional bursts of inspiration.
I've been working on this dollhouse for like 2 years now.
They got a brother locked up once again.
Inmates have a lot of free time on their hands. It's what they do with that free time that really kind of separates where they're going to go with their lives. Will they make use of their time in a positive way, or will time make use of them and they'll go to the dark side?
Ask any lockup producer where to find the most drama and tension inside prison, and the answer is usually intake. The place new inmates cross the threshold into a world where they will be known as much by a number as by a name.
What size you wear? 8.5. Guess what? 10 is going to be your lucky number.
The intake process varies from prison to prison, but each one brings stark reminders of how life is about to change.
Let me tell you this one more time, and one more time only. No one will allow you any type of gym shoe. We have shoes to fit you. There will be no boxes, excuses. I have high margins. My feet are bad. What's your problem?
At the Joliet Correctional Center in Illinois, a boot camp-like orientation begins the intake process.
You may keep 12 envelopes. You can keep 24 pictures. Anything after 24 pictures will be sent home or destroyed.
You start with specific directions, and you tell them what the expectation level are. If anybody causes a problem, you take them out of the equation immediately. And by doing that, you maintain that control.
Some people have been there several times before, and it's quite frankly almost a homecoming to them. And then you can always read what they refer to as the fresh fish.
Oh man, I've heard stories about what goes on at night here. I've heard stories about people getting killed. I've heard all sorts of stories, you name it.
There's always that guy who's wide-eyed, who absolutely doesn't want to be there. You get to go home, and they don't.
Such was the case with 23-year-old Andrew Dykeman. We were there the day he arrived at Utah State Prison on a statutory rape conviction.
I've done some jail time, but I've never been here before. It's a whole different animal.
What's thinking about it so far?
Man, the bars on the windows. It seems it's a lot more serious. This is real stuff here. It's scary. Worried about getting beat up by other inmates. They try to make it as safe an environment as possible, but you never know what's going to happen.
We've accompanied these inmates and many others through one of the more discomforting aspects of intake, the strip search.
then our intake officer will take them one at a time back into a strip room, do a visual cavity search.
Insurance and all that too?
Yeah. They try to do it with a level of dignity and respect so as to not to make the person uncomfortable.
Okay, then over spread your butt cheeks. Okay, thank you. What size of underwear? Because Utah receives a relatively small number of new arrivals on intake days, officers can make the process more comfortable for the inmates. We found a very different atmosphere at the sprawling and constantly bustling Los Angeles County Jail.
Stand up. Spread your feet shoulder width apart. Lift up your left foot with your toes.
LA County, which is probably one of the largest jail systems in the world, was completely different experience.
Drop them, turn around.
And inmate reception center is gigantic. You know, they get 400 guys a day, 2,000 a week.
Stand up. Head over in place. Reach back, crack the county smile. No talking, no laughing. Just reach back, pull them apart. Run them wide.
While intake can be a traumatic experience for new inmates, settling into the day-to-day routine of prison life provides a very different challenge.
The time isn't hard if you keep yourself busy. You know, it's a point of managing it. You know, you can either manage it or it can manage it.
Waddell Harper and his cellmate Soccer Wren have created ways to break the monotony with the few sparse items they're allowed in their cramped cell.
The dice are made from toilet paper.
We just mold them up, just draw them, basically, you know. You might get all creative once you're here, you got nothing else to do.
Then we make dominoes made out of soap. Just different things to occupy your mind.
Shortly after meeting Harper and Wren, we discovered another pair of Utah cellmates.
I got five more.
With their own unique method of passing time.
My name's Todd Luck. It's T-O-D, 1D. Luck if I had any. L-U-C-K. I am currently here for a 1 to 15 robbery.
Steve Eichbauer. I'm here on a parole violation for dirty UA. That's dirty urine analysis for using drugs. It's lucky because both of us want to exercise. Sometimes you get with a cellie that doesn't want to exercise, and it's nice to have somebody that does because then you can use their body weight.
You want to not look over your back as much, and if you're just a stick figure walking in here with some new beef, you know, and you got your chest all puffed out like this, you know, and you're talking like Bubba, you know, then of course you're gonna have some problems. But if you're consistently working out, then people know that you're pretty much physically fit. They'll leave the hands off of you, because you don't want to end up somebody's girl, you know, something like that in here. Yeah.
As for the new arrivals, they'll have to come up with their own methods for coping with life behind bars.
You know, it's cold and it's depressing and, you know, this is the worst, but you have to do it. You know, when I go to sleep and be having nightmares about this place and wake up and I'll still be stuck in the same nightmare. You gotta do your time and be strong about it. It's nothing you can do but face your fears.
Coming up,
Take my t-shirt.
the inside scoop on prison laundry.
Keep my toilet fresh and clean.
And prison ink.
I wear it proudly. I got the swastikas and I got the Sustafa bolts.
The tear represents several different things. It can represent the fact that you've killed somebody.
We've met inmates who have not only devised ingenious ways to pass time, but to take care of routine domestic chores. Few, though, made as lasting an impression on us as Solon League of California's San Quentin State Prison.
I'm the third termer. The youngster's the first termer. He got 12 years. I only got 13 days now. So I'm really preparing him to what's ahead of him. Keep our house clean.
Lee gave both his cellmate and our producer a lesson on the finer points of laundry behind bars.
I just take my t-shirt, grab my bar of soap, in the toilet. I keep my toilet fresh and clean. Scrub it out. So, once the toilet fills up, it's fresh water now. And I can just rinse it.
pounds. Put it here. Right up under here's my clothesline.
League went on to give us a cooking demonstration using toilet paper like a stovetop burner.
Take this. Sit it on the edge of the toilet. Because it's got debris. I might sit it here. I might light it at the bottom. As you see, it's like a fire. You hold your can over it and you cook. Therefore your water gets hot.
Say, hey, Spike,
Flush it down. You grab it downtown if you don't want it to be on your toilet. You don't want to burn your toilet up. I get my bowl, crack my soup open, do my eat.
Over the years, we've also seen another trick of the inmate trade in the majority of prisons we visited. It's called fishing.
They rip up their sheets into little pieces, tie them together to make a long rope as such, and then they usually will use a roll-on deodorant bottle or something heavy that they tie on the end of it so they can throw it from one cell or over the top range to the bottom range. And then a lot of times you'll see like mail bags and envelopes tied to them so they can put letters in or magazines. And a lot of times you'll see them just tie a kite or a letter to the end of it, and that's the way they communicate.
The packages tied to the fish lines are sometimes called Cadillacs. And hard as they try, correctional staff can rarely keep up with them.
99% of the time, you're not going to get out there and catch it because, you know, they're looking out for each other. But we'll go up and tell them to give us the Cadillacs. And if they won't, we'll cuff them up, go in, shake them down, and take the Cadillac. And then they'll have another one tomorrow. And so, you know, that's where a lot of our sheets go. So you take one and they'll have another one the next day.
At Kern Valley State Prison in California, we met inmate Aaron Yost, who participates in another illegal yet very common practice behind bars: tattooing.
Mine's artwork. You know what I mean? I did this myself.
Where?
Huh?
Where?
In here, in a cell, just like this.
Oh.
Now, see this cassette player? Rip the motor out of it. Attach a pin to it with a needle. You know, spin the needle on a camera, go back and forth. And I make the ink. I'll burn plastic or baby oil, and then the soot will go up. I'll collect the soot and I'll mix it with shampoo to get like a thick black ink.
Tattooing in prison is illegal and poses a variety of health risks. But we've met countless inmates who have gotten their ink both on the outside and inside. Many tattoos represent gang affiliation and are documented by prison officials. Most of the rest have a meaning all their own.
So my trip is physics. You know, my tattoos represent it. On the back of my legs it says quantum physics. You know, I got an atom on my hand. You know, I studied what the ultimate nature of reality is. It soothes me. It soothes me to try and figure out what I am, what all this is, what it's all about. You know, the deeper thinking philosophy, I guess you would say.
You know, I got a couple females down here on the old legs. Bullwhip's kind of into that S&M thing, I guess, you know. That's my thing.
This tattoo right here is the Joker, is a representation of me, and the women is a representation of my way or the highway. You know, I mean, that was my thoughts in dealing with women and relationships. This is the madness. This is me on crack. That's me. That's, you know, before I learned to manage my problem, that was me.
This was a memorial to my mom. She passed away while I was in here. And of course, you know what the word deviate means. I mean, it's straight from the norm, other than the standard. And this is kind of like me back in the day, and this is me pulling my own strings. You know, it's like I became a puppet to myself.
So study deadly sins, prison life really like that. I know UK and US is totally different, but y'all have to have almost the same philosophy in prison. Inking, the laundry, the sharing each other bitches and shit, the drugs, all the other bullshit. So tell me, study deadly sins, when you were locked up, were you like that? Were you somebody's bitch?
The tier represents several different things. It can represent gang membership, it can represent the fact that you've killed somebody, or it can represent the fact that you've done a lot of time in prison. In my case, I've done a lot of time in prison. I've never killed anybody.
Tattoos in prison often lead to violence, as we learned when we visited the Holman Correctional Facility in Alabama.
You want to be interviewed? Put your clothes on. Come on.
Stephen Parker is serving a life sentence for the murder of his stepmother.
A lot of people, they villainize me for that. And, I grew up with parents that didn't give about me. I'm not trying to excuse my behavior. You know what I mean? I take full responsibility.
I wouldn't probably last 5 minutes on a main line.
Why?
Well, they don't like cops, or ex-cops.
Tiano says, if nothing else, his experience here has helped him see the people he used to arrest in a new light.
I've been dealing with these people for many, many years. And, there's a lot of them that aren't, there's a perception, unfortunately, by the majority of our society that everybody who's in prison is really a bad person. And that's not the case. My heart aches for some of these youngsters you see come in here, 21, 22 years old, that are facing life sentences because of a stupid mistake. I mean, you just wonder, how is this 22-year-old kid going to get through to age 65, 70, 75, 80? And this is it. I mean, there's no more than this. This is all there is for him. I mean, you can't help but have some empathy for that guy.
How's your shoulder doing today?
It's a little sore. I got it out of the sweating to try and get gets too stiff if I leave it in there all the time. For all these years, for 26 years in law enforcement, I've got a very good friend of mine that's a retired captain, and we write. And I was telling him, it's like that whole point in my life has been for naught, because they took my retirement badge, my retirement ID card. I used to win gold medals at the Police Olympics all the time, and those are gone. And it guts you, is what it does.
Stole this truck, 18-wheeler.
In this previously unaired footage, Stemper also claims to use his sexuality to manipulate other inmates.
You target people with weaker minds, easier targets, kind of like what I would be in a rougher prison. I target that and start talking and flirting with them. It's your turn. To them, it's like having a woman in here, so they are willing to give up more things. It doesn't have to be sexual, it's just the presence. I know it's in their mind, but the trick behind it is they try to not do it that way, and they still get the item.
Though it's against the rules, Stemper has found ways to engage in another activity that makes life in prison more tolerable for himself and other inmates.
It's easy to have the sex in prison. And know what the guards are looking for and know how to get around that. Places, cameras, guards. You can have friends lure a guard away from someplace so you can get into someplace. Have the sex and then come out before the guard turns around, comes back. There are staircases, closets, other people's cells. It's kind of like a cloak and dagger game with the guards. In my case, I'm just good at it. I never get caught. 10 years.
When we visited the Holman Correctional Facility in Alabama, producers met Keith Mason, who also assumes a female persona.
Keith, but they call me Precious. Well, what makes me a girl? First of all, is this. Again, this is my choice, so it's nothing that I was forced into. Like, I walked in the door and he slapped me down and said, "You're gonna be my bitch." It wasn't like that, When I came in.
Lift up your left foot with your toes.
LA County, which is probably one of the largest jail systems in the world, was completely different experience.
Drop them, sir.
And inmate reception center is gigantic. They get 400 guys a day, 2,000 a week.
Head up. Head over in the waist. Reach back, crack the county smile. No talking, no laughing. Just reach back, pull them apart. Spread them wide.
While intake can be a traumatic experience for new inmates, settling into the day-to-day routine of prison life provides a very different challenge.
The time isn't hard if you keep yourself busy. You know, it's a point of managing it. You know, you can either manage it or it can manage it.
Waddell Harper and his cellmate Soccer N have created ways to break the monotony.
So you know how I do. The main question I gotta ask Silly Deadly Sins with prison life like that. You should tell y'all subscribers so they don't end up a jailbird like you.